Welcome to the Power BI Quiz. And welcome to you, Matthew.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I'll just need to mute some. Sorry for that. I have double audio coming in. So, Matthew, tell us a little about yourself. Why is it you are so passionate about data flows?
Excellent. Well, thank you. So first of all, hi, my name is Matthew Roche. I'm a program manager on the Power BI Customer Advisory Team, or Power BI CAT team at Microsoft. I get to work with both my fellow CAT team members like Adam Sexton and Patrick LeBlanc that you may or may not know. They have a little YouTube channel that a couple people watch, as well as people like your last week's host, Will Thompson, on the engineering team. And essentially what we do, or what I do, is represent the voice and the needs of enterprise customers to make sure that we're building and shipping the things that they need. Dataflows is a relatively small part of my real job. So it's like maybe 5 or 10% of what I do at work. But for the last almost 25 years, I've been doing data warehousing and ETL, sort of the back-end side of business intelligence and data in general, and having a capability inside of Power BI so that a business user can create reusable data entities to do staging, transformation, enrichment, and sharing without needing to go to a data engineering or data warehousing team is just really, really exciting and powerful for me. And there's so much knowledge out there about other parts of Power BI. So think about what DAX, what Marco and Alberto and Phil and everybody else do for DAX. That didn't really seem to be the similar set of resources for data flows. So I sort of saw the low-hanging fruit and went for it, and have never regretted it.
Yeah, you're actually the voice of data flows now and doing a lot of sessions on it, and also have your own YouTube channel with a lot of good stuff on data flows.
Yeah, I have not been as active as I would like this year. So 2020 has been kicking my butt in many different ways. So at least in theory, we'll have more data flows videos coming on the BI Polar channel before too long.
That sounds nice. So yeah, again, welcome to you. It's so nice to have you. This is actually our 10th show, and it's the last show for the first season, at least here. So it is kind of a grand finale we're having here today. So let's go in and then look at the prices. Today, again, we have the $100 gift card to Lego.com for the winner. And then for the raffle prize, we have is Enterprise DNA 1-year membership that was donated by Enterprise DNA. And let's have a look at these prizes. So last week, we had as the raffle prize was this Mastering Role-Level Security in Power BI course, created by Adam and Patrick, the two guys in this one cube. So we will start by picking the winner for the raffle prize for last week. So the winner will get this course and can learn a lot about mastering role-level security in Power BI. So here we have we have the attendees for the quiz last week, where there were 36 attendees, and as we can see here, Nexus, that was Ricardo from Spain, won last week. So again, big congratulations to him. And so every attendee here, I have assigned a random number, so number from 1 to 36, and then Matthew, will you pick a number?
All right, so I will just jump in and we'll say 7.
7. So that's not your age, I can say.
Well, my mother always said that you're only as old as you act, so it might be.
In some cases, maybe, yeah. So let's see who is behind number 7. And And the lucky winner is Yathuram, who has won this Mastering Role level. He was ranked 28 last week and had this random index number 7. So please contact me or anyone who knows who Yathuram. Maybe it's a Twitter handle, then I will go out and look it up. But please have him contact me, or I'll try and find him so we can hand over the prize for him. And then
so this must be the importance of either using your full name or your Twitter handle as you're putting your name in.
Absolutely. We had one quiz actually where I couldn't find the winner. It was a Susan. And
no prize for you.
No prize. Yeah, I shouted out on LinkedIn, but didn't find her. So we used the prize for the next week. So for the raffle prize for this week, we have this membership for the Enterprise DNA portal, where you have a lot of content. Really, a lot of content. You will have access to for a whole year with courses and tutorials, and there's even a community in there. So this is the and winner for the raffle prize, and then for the winner of the actual quiz, you will get this $100 gift card to Lego.com. And until now we had 9 winners, so this will be the 10th person getting this. Actually not the 10th, because we have 2 people who won twice. So you can buy something for yourself or something for your kids. There's a lot of things to choose from. Maybe this.
You can buy something for yourself and say it's for your kids.
Absolutely. That could also be the case. For instance, you can buy this Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah. So this is the prizes for the winner and for the raffle prize. Then for the Kahoot. The Kahoot Quiz is a tool where you will see the questions on your monitor, but you will answer on another device or on a secondary screen. So you'll go into kahoot.it on your mobile, on your tablet, or on a separate browser window on your desktop. You can also, and then I will give you a pin that you will put in. You will have it shortly, and then please, as Matthew said, put in your full name or Twitter handle as your nickname. Then it will be much easier for me to find you if you win the raffle prize. And then also be aware that we have this 3 to 5 seconds delay. That means you will actually see the answers before you see the questions. And it also means that when there's a timer and it says 30 seconds, you will only have 25 seconds. So that is how it is with Kahoot running in one stream and YouTube running another. And then today we will have 10 real questions delivered by Matthew on Dataflows, where you can score points, and the faster you answer, the more points you get. And then we'll also have, actually here that says 1 start question, but we actually have 2 start questions that Matthew also came up with for the quiz today. Here you don't get any points, just some starting questions to get you started and using it. So let's jump in and start the quiz. So go in, and it's a rather long pin code today, 7807745. And we have Alex Dubline as the first one, and 10 people. 20.
Wow, look at all these people.
I will say normally we will have half of the attendees is something coming back, and then we have half of them is new people. And the more quizzes we do, obviously we will have more and more repeated people coming. 33.
I'm going to conclude that this just shows that everybody loves Dataflows, and it has nothing to do with Legos at all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can promise you today you will also learn something and not just having fun, I will say, on Dataflows. There are some tricky questions in there. Yeah, Carlos says in the chat, this is my third Power BI quiz.
Well, it will either be the best one or the last one of the season. Maybe both.
Oh, yeah. Or the best one. Let's start the quiz, and people can join in later on also. The pin will be on the top. So we'll start with this bonus question.
All right, so for the bonus question, this is a little known fact about the M formula language. So the M formula language is it's the internal code name for what is officially known as the Power Query formula language. And what we'd like to know is, who do you think the M formula language was named after? So was it me, Matthew Roche? Was it Matt Mason, who is a developer on the Power Query team? Or was it Miguel Llopis, who is a program manager? And sadly, you're all wrong. It was named after all of these people because I was named in the 60s, Matt and Miguel were named in the 70s, and M was named maybe 2006 or 2007 or so. So it was actually named after all of us.
Nice. So this was the first start question. Then we have another one.
And this next one is not a trick question. This is actually very important. So if you have an enterprise data warehouse today, does Power BI Dataflows mean that you don't need one? So the actual question, do I still need a data warehouse if I have Power BI Dataflows? And you're not going to get graded on this, or at least not for the quiz. But this is a question that I get all the time in the real world in one form or another. So do I still need the data warehouse if I have Dataflows? Trying to get myself lined up with the camera here. And of course, the answer is yes. Even though Dataflows do have a lot of functional and conceptual overlap with data warehouses, Power BI Dataflows are designed to be self-service, not to replace the existing data warehouse. At least not at the moment, not today.
No, and we have a comment here. It's a poor man's data warehouse.
But if the poor man already had a data warehouse, he should keep it, even though he has Dataflows. So definitely we can think of it that way, but it's important to remember that Dataflows do not have all of the enterprise functional characteristics that you want a data warehouse to have. And because of that, thinking of it as a true replacement is often a way to end up in a place you don't want to be in.
Oh yeah. So now for the first real question of the quiz.
Yay. All right, so the first scored question.
Matthew, we have some trouble with your audio. Matthew, we have some trouble with your audio. I don't know. Matthew? Matthew, can you hear me? We have some trouble with your audio. your audio is not coming through. Maybe it's better now. We have your audio is not coming through. I can't hear you. Can you hear me, Matthew? Yeah. Still no sound, people says. Maybe it's your headset. Can you... So can people hear my voice?
Testing.
Oh,
testing.
Yeah, now...
I am now testing using the audio on the PC rather than my headset mic.
Yeah, I will...
Any difference?
People...
Yes?
Yeah, you can hear you now.
I still, so I see chatter on the shared screen saying you can hear me, yay! I can't hear anybody else? Is anyone else talking? No, speakers, let's test. All right, so that one might be speakers.
So, if you can move a little. So, I think we are ready to go. And
I hope so.
So, only 2 people answered this question, so and one of them got it right. So, yeah.
Shall we try question number 2 and see how it goes?
Let's see. Yeah, let's take the next question and then, yeah, one person. Let's see who it is. It was Dr. Pippin who answered this one as the only one correct. And then we'll have the next question. Unfortunately, I can't redo the question, so we'll just go on here from.
All right, for the next question, this is about a specific connector experience. So if you used the from table using examples in Power BI Desktop to get data from a web page, how can you get that same web page data into a Power BI Dataflow, not in Power BI Desktop? And I don't know if I should say this out loud, but this is one of the tricky questions. This is probably the one that I consider to be tricky of all of the questions that are in the quiz.
Oh yeah, it was tricky.
So this one is really interesting, and it was a problem that I ran into early on. So the from query by examples works in Power BI Desktop primarily through embedding the Chromium web rendering engine. So it uses CSS selectors and other HTML capabilities to allow you to more easily pull data from tables in a web page. But as of today, it does not work in Power BI Dataflows or in Power Query Online because that Chromium engine doesn't exist in the cloud. So for whomever got this one correct, I would love to see, I don't know if you do this for every question, but I'd love to see who got this one correct.
Yeah, and actually now we have your sound now, but we lost your video. But I think we can continue because it's hearing your voice that is the most important thing here. Yeah.
Yes. They say I have a face made for radio.
Oh yeah. So,
wait, you weren't supposed to agree with that one.
No, sorry. Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah.
So.
So what's next? What's our next question?
Which of these?
Right. So.
Yeah.
So which of these options is not a valid location for Power BI data flows? So one of these is a place where you cannot create a Power BI data flow.
Yeah, now you're a little blurry, but
I figure that blurry is the best that we can hope for, given all of the technical challenges that we're having today. So a blurry Matthew is still a Matthew.
Absolutely. And here we had a lot of correct answers.
There are a lot of correct answers. So the classic workspace is sort of the obvious. It's the obvious distractor. I'm not sure if that term will translate, but all of the other options are valid locations. You cannot create a data flow in your My Workspace because data flows exist for sharing, and My Workspace exists for whatever the opposite of sharing is. You can create you can create data flows in both V1 and V2 workspaces and in shared or dedicated premium capacity. There are some specific features that won't work in old workspaces and won't work on shared capacity, but for data flows in general, My Workspace is the one place you cannot create them.
Exactly. And let's see. We have
a clear leader.
Yeah. With 2 correct answers until now. And let's have the next question.
Here we go. So when you're using linked and computed entities, using them requires both the source and destination data flows to be what? So what's the requirement here for the source data flow and destination data flow when you use linked and computed entities? And I hope that there are folks looking at the options and saying, but the thing that I expect to see there isn't even an option.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that you need to use linked and computed entities is dedicated premium capacity. But the other thing that linked and computed entities rely on is having the new workspace experience or V2 workspaces. The refresh schedule doesn't really apply because linked and computed entities mean that the downstream destination data flows just automatically refresh when the upstream one does. The workspace owner doesn't really come into it, and you can use linked and computed entities whether or not you're using an organizational ADLS account to store the data flow data.
Yeah, so 9 people had this one correct. Let's see if it changes something. Yeah, we have a new leader.
Ooh, we have a race.
Oh, yeah. And also some familiar names in here. It's next one, double points.
Ooh. All right, so let's say that you have a data flow and you want to create a new data flow in a different workspace that replicates your existing data flows. So what is the easiest way to create that new one that is just a copy of the existing one? So multiple ways to do it. What's the quickest or easiest?
Oh, a lot of people.
Excellent. So the nice thing is any one of these is valid, but that exporting the model.json, that's basically the definition of the data flow and all its entities. You can just export it from the portal to save that .json file on your hard drive. And then when you're creating a new data flow, you can simply say create from an existing model.json. And the only thing that you need to specify is the name of the new data flow. Any of the other options have many more steps and will take much longer.
Yeah, so this is also the best practice way, I will say.
I would agree as well, because it gives you the opportunity to tie in with source code and version control and similar things, and certainly much less step intensive.
Or maybe even open it in Notepad++ and change something.
You could use that as well. Although I think that we call Notepad++ Visual Studio Code these days.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Let's see if that changes something. Yeah, we have still Karen VJ in the top.
Very, very close.
Oh yeah. Next question.
All right, so which of the following data flows capabilities do not require Power BI Premium? So 3 of these, you have to have the data flow in a workspace that is backed by premium dedicated capacity, and 1 of them you do not. So which is the one that does not require Power BI Premium? Ooh, so it looks like quite a few folks have seen this one or have run into this one already, which is exciting to me. So storing the data for your data flow entities in your own data lake storage account does not require premium. Basically, all that you need to do is to set up at the tenant level the storage account that your data flows can use, and then as a workspace owner, configure the workspace to use that storage account. The other capabilities, including incremental refresh, linked and computed entities, and AutoML for machine-driven enrichment of the data during data flow refresh, those are all the data flow specific, premium specific capabilities.
Yeah, so it's also called bring your own data lake.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever intended to use that bring your own data lake or BYODL, BYOL, whatever we're calling it. I don't know if we intended to use that publicly, but certainly that is a term that we have used to describe this before.
Yeah, and right now it's on tenant level, but I heard that it will be changed to workspace level.
Yep, so that is something that we have discussed publicly, so I am comfortable confirming to say that in the near future, workspace administrators will be able to select their own Azure subscriptions to use without needing a tenant level configuration. The details are coming, and we'll wait until we ship it or get a little bit closer to shipping it before we talk about it.
Fair enough. Let's see the leaderboard now. And we have Rishi is in the top. Rishi's already won 2 of the quizzes so far, so yeah, he can be the ultimate winner of the quiz which we win this time also. Yeah, and we have Nexus on 3rd place. He was the winner of the last week's quiz. So yeah. Huh?
Yeah, this should not be a multi-select, or at least I don't believe so, but to connect to data flows using direct query, which of these things do you need to do before you can use direct query to connect to a data flow rather than using import to connect to the data flow. And the key things, or the correct answer, is that you need to use the enhanced compute engine. So this is a currently in preview capability for data flows that also does require premium, where essentially instead of having data flows be the CSV files in that CDM folder format, the Power BI service will create a SQL-based cache of the data that's in the entities, which enables query folding and direct query, because Power BI Desktop will go against the cache rather than the underlying files.
Oh yeah, and I have to say sorry because there was not so much time on this question, so not all people had the chance to answer it, and that's my fault. So we have not only technical issues with the video streaming, but also with the questions. So yeah, so sorry for that. But we had 3 people answering it correctly. So yeah. Let's see. And none of the people in the top had answered this one correctly. So still Wishy in front.
Expanding that lead.
Let's have the next.
All right, so this is sort of an internal question. So Dataflows was not the original name for the feature that we now know and love as Dataflows. So which of these was not considered as a possible feature name for Power BI Dataflows? So which one was not at one point considered?
Be interesting to see people's answers on this one. Whoa.
Ooh. So this is one that I honestly didn't feel was going to be super tricky. So Power BI Data Pool was actually what we called it briefly in preview. So if you were using the Dataflows initial private preview, you actually had builds of Power BI Desktop that had Data Pool as the name inside it. Our first public name was CDSA, or the Common Data Service for Analytics. Unfortunately, that did not last very long. But the interesting thing, this is sort of a behind-the-scenes humorous note, is that in a few internal email threads, there were people saying, oh, we should call them data stages because people are using these for staging their data, or we think that people will use them for that. And I actually pointed out that data stage was a registered trademark of International Business Machines. And that conversation didn't get too far, but it's something that I smile about every time I think about it. The one that we never considered was having data space flow with a capital D and a capital F, because that's already taken in Azure Data Factory and in SQL Server Integration Services. And we didn't want any sort of confusion by reusing a name.
Yeah, so please don't write a space between them. So we have 2 people answering this one correct. See if it changes something. Yeah, we have Alice, who actually also have won 2 quizzes so far, joining the leaderboard. Next.
And I love Andy pointing out that the space eliminates confusion. So the next question, what action do you need to take to store your data flow data in a common data model folder? So we talk about CDM and CDM folders, but if you're using Power BI Dataflows, what do you actually need to do to put your data into a CDM folder?
Yeah, also interesting the answers on this one. Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, so that one may have been trickier than I had expected. So the neat thing, or the fundamental fact behind or the red answer being the correct answer, is that the only place that Dataflows store their data, or all Dataflow data, is persisted in the CDM folder format. This is simply the underlying storage format of CSV files and JSON metadata that's used for every Power BI data flow. And all that you need to do is to refresh the data flow. That's what creates the CDM folder. The other options about having the organizational ADLS Gen 2 resource or mapping to a standard CDM entity definition, these are all possible, but whether or not you do those actions, it's the actual refresh of the data flow that will physically create the CDM folder in the underlying storage account, whether it's managed by Power BI or in your own Azure subscription.
But when it's managed by Power BI, you can't actually see the data in the folder.
You can see the data through Power BI.
Yeah.
So if you're using the built-in storage, the way that you consume it is by having a Power BI client read the data. But you are correct that if you're using the built-in Power BI storage, non-Power BI client applications cannot access the CDM folder, and you can't get to the raw files. You're simply accessing it through the data flows and entities as an abstraction.
Thank you. And let's see. We still have...
Oh my goodness.
So, and this is before the last question, and the last question is also awarded double points. So here you can score 2,000 points.
It's so close.
We have more than these 5 people actually capable of winning right now. So let's have the last question.
All right, so for the final question for double points, if you're using the enhanced compute engine, which of the following scenarios will actually see benefit, like performance benefit, because you're using that engine? So it makes things faster, but it doesn't make everything faster. Which of these scenarios is most likely to run faster if you have the enhanced compute engine for your data flows in a workspace? Oh, look at that. So this was one that I expected to be harder, and quite a few folks got the fourth green answer, which was correct. So today, the performance benefit from the enhanced compute engine primarily comes from having data flows that reference other data flows. And as long as the upstream data flows are using that enhanced compute engine, all of the other queries being run by the downstream data flows will go against that SQL-based cache that the enhanced compute engine creates. And we'll be able to take advantage of things like query folding and the like. None of the other options are likely to see any benefit at all. So first and foremost, if you're doing a refresh from data that's external to Power BI, whether it's a full refresh or an incremental refresh, you don't have the opportunity to take advantage of the compute engine because that's further downstream. And you may actually see your refreshes taking a little bit longer because in addition to loading the data, you need to build the SQL cache of the data that you've just loaded into the CDM folder. And for the yellow option, even though the compute engine does enable direct query from Power BI desktop, if you're importing from a data flow into your data model in desktop, the compute engine is unlikely to have significant performance improvements because you're still loading everything, and whether you're reading it from a file or a database, the performance will be similar.
Yeah, we have a couple of remarks in the chat. People are learning a lot in this quiz so far, and we can see that normally we have people answering maybe 80% correct, and we don't have that this time. And also both Richard on the first place and Aless have revealed in chat that they didn't answer correct on this one. So it will be interesting to see who will win.
Fingers crossed.
So, on third place, Donald Paris.
So does Donald win anything?
No, we only have something for the first place, and it is Rishi. So congratulations to Rishi, and also Aless and Donald and all who participated in the quiz. Yeah, and Rishi won with 6 out of 12 correctly. So yeah, congratulations to that. It was a hard, difficult quiz this time. Yeah, for saying, yeah, I miss you on this screen. Let's just go back to this one when people are putting it the feedback. So thank you very much, Matthew, for creating the quiz and taking part and being a co-host on the show.
Well, thank you for organizing this, and thanks to everyone for playing along. I promise I had much more fun than you did.
I'm sure people have fun, and yeah, we had some technical issues, but that what can happen when we do it live here. So yeah, thank you for everyone attending, or everyone attending all the 10 shows here in the first season. Now we will have a 4-week break before we start up a new season. So it will be the 19th of August. We will start up again, where we'll have Reza Red as the first guest on the second season. And actually, I convinced him to join. Even then, it is on his birthday, and it's not just on an ordinary birthday. It's just turning 40 on that day. So he will actually join us on his birthday. Very committed to the community. Actually, he will join the morning after because he's in New Zealand. So we are having the quiz on his birthday.
Honestly, by the time that you hit 40, there's nothing else to look forward to. So you might as well do an online quiz on your birthday.
Yeah, and he will go up 8 a.m. Or we'll start the quiz 8 a.m. New Zealand time the day after his birthday. So, but he has said to me that he will bring a party in the weekend instead of on his. So yeah. Thank you again, Matthew, and thank you to all who participated in the quiz. And yeah, have a good day, or evening, or night, depending on where you are on the planet. So thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.